I love this segment. William is in the studio. William F. Stiles is here. He's a real estate agent, but in my mind, he's a smart guy, a lot of wisdom, and he shares that wisdom very eloquently. What a great speaker he has become, and we're so honored to have him on this radio show. Good morning, William. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Today I was going to lead off with my sponsor, but I'm not going to lead off with my sponsor today. I'm not going to tell you to call me Mr. Ocala buys houses. I am not going to tell you that I can help you sell your house, help you buy a house, anything that has to do with buying or selling residential real estate here in Ocala. You can call me, but I'm not going to give you my phone number either. I'm not going to tell you it's 352-282-3080. And I'm not going to give you my website, Mr. Ocala Buys Houses. So I'd love to help you out. Today, my message is very simple. Stop trying to fit in when you were born to stand out. Stop trying to fit in when you were born to stand out. You see, you were born an original, a beautiful original. But yet, we're all trying to be copies. This reminds me of, I've been in the real estate business a long time, and especially not as much nowadays, but in the past, you would print out a copy of a contract. You would fill it in, and you would fax it to somebody or email it to somebody. They would then print it out, and it wouldn't be quite as crisp. The copy had some flaws. It wasn't exactly the same. And on the other end, the other agent would get some signatures on that contract, and they would send it back to me. And the quality had deteriorated even more. And then if there were changes, I had to send it back again. And by the time, any real estate agent knows this, by the time you would have a final contract, it would be really difficult to read. Because not only are you copying the original, but then when someone else is copying the copy of the original, and then someone else is copying the copy of the original, the quality deteriorates. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Instead of owning who we are, instead of knowing the value that we bring, that we were born to bring into this world, we try to look around and see who we can copy, how we can be successful by copying the next person. You didn't come here to be a copy. You came here to be a beautiful original. You came here to stand out. Now, today I'm going to talk about 3 ways to become the amazing, beautiful original you were born to be. You've got to know yourself. Instead of looking out in the world and trying to be a copy of what you see, you've got to look inward and you've got to say, who am I? What am I about? What am I good at? What do I want? It's about knowing yourself. Know thyself. So here are the 3 things. You got to get to know your passions. You got to get to know what you're passionate about. You got to get to know what your God-given talents and gifts are. And you've got to get to know how you choose to be in your life, how you choose to show up. And not only do you have to know your passions, get to know your gifts and talents, and get to know how you choose to show up, but you've got to build those into your daily life. You have to exercise those on a daily basis. You need to, as far as your passions, you need to become consciously aware of what lights your soul on fire. What lights you up? What lights up your soul? And the things that light up your soul are the things that when you do them, you are given energy. There are a lot of things you do in the world that you're expending energy. But when you're doing something you're passionate about, when you're doing something you're excited about, it actually gives you energy instead of taking away from you. I remember having a persistent friend that says, "Hey, William, let's go out. We're going to have fun tonight." And I'm like, no, I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I've worked all day. I just don't have the energy to go out. I'm going to stay home. Have you ever had that persistent friend that just won't leave you alone, that says, come on, come on, come on, come on, we got to go out, we want to have some fun? And then when you finally give in, the peer pressure, right? So you finally give in and say, okay, fine, I'm going to go out with you. And then you have the time of your life. You have an amazing time. And here you are 5 hours later, maybe 6 hours later, with more energy after dancing and laughing and doing all kinds of craziness. You have more energy 6 hours later than you did previously. So where did that energy come from? That energy comes from following your passions. That energy comes from doing the things that you're passionate about. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is connecting with people. So when I put myself into situations where I can connect with other human beings, I'm given energy. It's exciting for me. So what excites you? A couple of the things for me is I realize playing sports, no matter how tired I am, if I'm given the opportunity to go play some basketball, if I'm given the opportunity to go play some softball or football, I am given energy. I could be ready to fall asleep right now, but if I go out and play some basketball, I have all the energy in the world. I also am very passionate about telling somebody how amazing they are. If I'm able to sit down and tell somebody what I see, what I see as far as how beautiful they are and amazing they are and what they're gifted at, and I can express that to them. For some reason, I was born with the passion to be able to do that. And when I do that, I get tremendous amount of energy. So what are you passionate about? What lights you up? What gives you energy when you do that activity? The opposite of this is doing something you don't care about. Like the time you're sitting in algebra class and you're like, oh, this is so boring. I hate this. I don't even see the purpose. And you're just ready to fall asleep. It's so boring. You're so unpassionate about this algebra class. And to this day, you don't know why you had to take that algebra class. So why is it even important to understand what your passions are and to express them and to do them on a daily basis? Number one, if you don't, you're going to be bored. You're going to live a life of boredom that you're going to hate. Do you ever get bored now? Do you ever feel like you're going through the motions in life? Do you ever feel like that you're on this treadmill of doing what you have to? That your daily existence is waking up in the morning and all day long you're doing what you have to do and nothing about what you want to do. You just don't know what you're passionate about. And more importantly, you're not doing the things you're passionate about. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself on that treadmill of doing a ton of activity, of things that you have to do, and never really connecting to the power, the energy of your soul. And you're going to find yourself living someone else's idea of a passionate life. You're going to find that there are people out there that are passionate about their lives, and they're on a mission, and they're doing what they want to do. And they're going to recruit you into their vision. So instead of you living your life according to your vision, according to things that you're passionate about, you're going to find yourself as a cog in somebody else's life. Is that what you're here to do? And when you're bored in life, you're going to find yourself with your body. You're going to find yourself not wanting to do activity. You're going to find yourself wanting to just sit around or eat. And the junk food that you're going to eat is no good for you. The relationships that you're with, when you're not connecting with your passions, you're not going to feel like really connecting with the woman in your life or with the man in your life. So this is very important for you to connect with your passions. So how do we do that? How do we connect with our passions? So I'm going to ask you some questions here. What do you get excited about doing? What lights your soul on fire? What gives you energy when you do it? What do you naturally enjoy doing without being asked? What gets you emotional? I mean, what touches your heart? What really upsets you? What wrong in the world needs to be righted by you? What can you get passionate about? What are you interested in? Answer some of these questions. Come up with one thing. Like right now, literally in this moment right now, come up with something. What can you get excited about doing? What are you interested in? And when you come up with that answer, you need to do something you're passionate about every day. You need to make sure in a sea of have-tos, in a sea of doing things for everybody else in the world, and in a sea of doing all the million things that you have to do every day, you throw in something you're passionate about. Don't forget about yourself. Throw in something you're passionate about. You have to add that into your life every single day. Now, you also have to get to know your God-given talents, your God-given gifts. So what does that mean? It's like a natural talent. A God-given talent, a God-given gift is something that you're good at, something that you have a natural ability for that you didn't have to take a class for. So what is it that you're good at that you never had to actually study or take a class for? Something that maybe you started to learn and you were able to pick it up really, really fast, and you were just a natural at it. It was just easy. So you got to get in touch with who you are. You got to get in touch with what you're passionate about. You got to get in touch with your God-given gifts and talents. You know, for myself, I've been told that I would be an excellent attorney because when I get on something, my mind, it's because of my ability to ask questions. And when I'm focused on a subject matter, especially something that doesn't make sense to me, I'm able to drill down and drill down and drill down with my ability to ask questions and not let go till I get the truth or get to the bottom of the situation or get to the heart of the matter. I never took a class for that. I never studied on how to ask questions or how to get to the heart of the matter. That was just something I was born with. And it's almost like I had to understand that. So what were you born with? What natural skills and abilities were you born with? We all have these innate abilities. Every single last one of us. And if you don't want to be a copy of somebody else, if you want to be the beautiful original, the amazing original that you were born to be, you need to understand the gifts and talents you were born with to express, to use in your life. Because when you do that, that's when life can open up for you, and you have a lot more fun. So I want to tell you a quick story about this unhappy bookkeeper who had this God-given talent of compassion, who was just the most compassionate person, but was so unhappy as a bookkeeper. And then if I asked this woman, why are you so unhappy? She says, I don't know. But yet she's the most compassionate person. She's not exercising her compassion. In her role as a bookkeeper, she's working on numbers. She's working on cold facts. She has no opportunity to exercise her compassion. She's not finding ways to exercise this God-given talent that she has for compassion. You see, because I don't have that same compassion. I just don't. I couldn't do that. I could never be a nurse. I just don't have the, somebody, I have understanding. When someone is telling me their challenge, I have deep understanding for a person. But I don't have a lot of compassion. I'm not the coddler. I'm not going to coddle anybody. But this woman had that God-given talent, God-given ability that she was born with, that she could make somebody feel really good. Somebody who's challenging in a maybe a challenging situation, she could make them feel comforted. So my advice to her was, maybe you either need to find a way to express your compassion in your bookkeeping job, or you get another job where that skill is actually admired. There are jobs out there are careers out there that if you have the natural ability to be compassionate, it's actually a strength for you. You can advance faster. If you're in the healthcare field, or if you're taking care of people in some capacity and you have the natural ability to be compassionate, you will be liked more in that career. You will advance farther and faster in that career and have an opportunity to make more money only because of your natural ability to be compassionate. You take that skill, you take two healthcare givers, and they're both equally qualified. One has compassion, one does not. The one with compassion will win. But you have to know what your gifts are, and then you have to express them. You have to put yourself in positions where you can express them in your career. But here's the rub. Your unique God-given talents and gifts are usually outside of your awareness. They come so naturally to you that you don't even see them. Like, you just totally discount them. You're like, oh, that compassion, like, whoop-de-doo. What can I do with that? It's nothing. Can't get paid for that. You totally discount it. You totally discount what you're good at. And that's the rub. So you got to bring it up to the surface. You got to bring up to the surface what you're naturally good at. So why is this important? Because if you do not understand what you're naturally good at, you're going to automatically look at others and try to be copies of them, as that's the path to success. Instead of owning who you are and saying, listen, I am amazing, I've got this ability and this ability and this ability, and I'm going to use that to help me be successful. Instead of doing that, you're going to try to copy somebody else. You're going to try to fit in instead of standing out. You will always be an inadequate copy. You'll never be good enough. In your career, you'll never be good enough. In your relationships, you'll never be good enough. So instead of trying to copy somebody else, get to know who you are. Get to know what you're passionate about. Get to know what you're good at. You know, I was doing some research this week. You know, Gallup polling organization said that in the workplace, 13% of workers are engaged with their work, meaning they're passionate and they're connected to their work. Only 13%. And 63% were not engaged, unhappy, basically sleepwalking. They're checked out. 63%, so 2/3. So when you're at work right now, I want you to look to your right and to your left, and 2 of you guys are checked out right now. And not even one of you is engaged. Only half of you. And then the other 24% were actively disengaged, meaning they hate their jobs. Why is that? It's because people out there in the world, you out there in your workplace, you're not connected to your God-given talents, and you're just trying to fit. You're like the circle trying to fit into the square hole. It's not going to work. Get in touch with what your talents are. You're not a robot. You are a living, breathing human being with passions and talents that must be expressed for you to feel passionate and connected to your life. You're not a robot. You're not here to fit somebody else's mold of what you're supposed to look like and act like and be like. So how are you going to figure this out? So I've got some questions for you. Okay, what are the things that you're naturally good at? What is easy for you? What do others think you're good at? You know, ask your friends. Like, what do your friends think are your greatest strengths? Ask them. What do your friends always ask you to help them with because you're so good at it and it feels effortless on your part? Do they notice that you light up when you explain something? Do you notice when you light up when you're explaining something? So some examples are, everybody thinks it's big, like I've got to have a talent for singing or dancing or, as an athlete. They think of like the major things, but they don't think of the real talent, a lot of the million other talents that somebody can have. Like, for example, with me, asking questions. You could be an amazing storyteller. You could be great with numbers, drawing, gardening, being compassionate. You could be great at organizing. You could be great at completing tasks or strategic thinking. You just have to get in touch with what you are naturally good at and what fulfills your soul when you do it. So here's an exercise for you this week. I want you to get in touch with something. Get in touch with what you're naturally good at. Answer some of those questions. And use your God-given talent every day. You have to exercise it in some way. If you're an amazing storyteller, tell a story every day. Now, you also need to get to know how you choose to be in your life, like how you choose to show up in the world. So not only are you getting to know your passions, you're getting to know your God-given talents and your gifts, but you're also making a conscious choice of, I'm not here to be a copy, I'm here to be me. I'm here to be an amazing original, and this is how I choose to show up in the world. This is how I choose to react to the world. You can consciously choose how you want to react to life. You know, as an entrepreneur, you get punched in the gut all the time. Punched in the gut. And you entrepreneurs out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When it's good, but when you get punched in the gut, right? How are you going to react when that happens? You know, I was working with a gentleman one time, and he was very successful financially. He was in the real estate business. He was making a lot of money. But he would have real estate deals fall apart that would cost him $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. And like he would be devastated. Like he just got punched. That's the only way I could describe it, like a gut punch. He's just like, it just hurts you. And I remember seeing him sitting there in his desk and be so distraught and so upset for about 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. And then there would be a shift inside of him, and I would be like, whoa, what just happened there? Like, how are you like feeling right now? How are you in such a good mood? You just lost $30,000. I mean, I couldn't even imagine it. And it was how he chose to react to life. It was how he chose to react to this situation. Because you're not a slave to react in a pre-existing way. You're not a slave to react to this world in existing ways. You can choose how to react. Here are some options for you. You can choose to be joyous. You can choose to be passionate. You can choose to be abundant. You can choose to be fun. You can choose to be bold. You can choose to be resourceful. You can choose to be loving, and you can choose to be faithful. So when you're an entrepreneur, you're out there in the world right now and you get punched in the gut. You say, you know what? I choose to be abundant. I choose to respond to my world in an abundant way. So when bad things happen to me, when I'm slapped in the face, when I'm punched in the gut, when I'm down, I choose to react in an abundant way. I choose to see that I have opportunities. I choose to see that I have options to keep going. When your child comes to you and they've made a mistake, and instead of reacting in just a harsh way and just really being all over your child, you can choose to react in a loving way. And it's a conscious choice you're choosing. I choose to be loving. That's who I am. I am a loving person. I am a resourceful person. When life has you down, you can choose that I am a resourceful person. You can say, this is who I am. I am resourceful, I am loving, and I am abundant. And that's how I choose to react. The opposite of that is just reacting to the pre-existing programs. It's just reacting the way everybody else reacts. I mean, who wants to be a robot? You're not here to be a robot. You're an amazing original. So why is this so important? Because if you don't get a handle on this, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to be in hospice thinking, I wished I had went for my dreams. I am regretting how my life has been. So choose now how you want to show up in the world. How do you do that? Okay. 3 things. Number 1, a circumstance is going to happen to you. Something's going to happen to you today. I want you to choose how you want to show up in your life. Right now, choose how you want to show up. Do you want to show up loving, fun, an abundant way, faithful, resourceful? I want you to choose. And then when that circumstance happens to you today, I want you to respond as that expression. I want you to respond in the way that you've chosen to be in your life. So not only are you understanding your passions and exercising it today, understanding your God-given talents and exercising that today, but you're choosing how you're going to respond to life today. So express that as a conscious choice of how you choose to be today. I can promise you that if you will do this, you will find an energy flowing through you that you will love. This message has been sponsored by Mr. Ocala Buys Houses. I want to help you. If you have a house for sale, you're looking to buy a house, contact me, 352-282-3080. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.